Every single day, you hear this word on the news. GDP. It is the most powerful number in human history. It can destroy governments or make nations rich. But, where did this index come from? Who created this invisible machine that controls our entire world? To find the answer, we have to look into the past. To a small, forgotten town called Pinsk. Our story begins in the early 20th century. A massive financial scandal hits the Russian Empire. A local bank clerk, Simon Kuznets, is accused of stealing a huge sum of money. To escape prison, he abandons his family and flees to America. Left behind in Pinsk is his young son, Simon Kuznets. Soon, World War I broke out. The family had to flee to Kharkiv, surviving horror, hunger, and chaos. Hyperinflation destroyed everything. Money became worthless, and 4 different armies fought for control of the city. Young Simon watched how old financial systems burned to ashes. In 1922, using fake documents, Simon finally escaped. He boarded a ship and arrived in New York to find his father. He was 21 years old, with nothing in his pockets, but a brilliant mind for numbers. And then, 1929 arrived. The Wall Street crash triggered the Great Depression. America collapsed. Factories closed down. Millions of people lost their jobs, and starvation hit the streets. But here was the biggest problem: Washington had no idea how bad the situation actually was. The government had no statistics. They were driving a crashing car, in total darkness. In desperation, the U.S. Congress turned to the young immigrant. Simon Kuznets was asked to do the impossible. Measure the entire American economy. Kuznets locked himself in an office. Working 18 hours a day, he and his team counted everything manually. Every factory, every farm, every dollar spent, and every salary paid. In 1934, he presented his historic report to Congress. For the first time, the world saw a single number that showed the health of a whole nation. This was the birth of national income, which later became GDP. When World War II started, President Roosevelt used Kuznets' data to turn American industry into a military monster. GDP allowed the U.S. to win the war of production. In 1971, Simon Kuznets received the Nobel Prize for saving the global economy. But, there is a dark side to this story. Kuznets himself strongly warned the politicians. He said, "The welfare of a nation can scarcely be inferred from a measure of national income." But the politicians ignored his warning. Today, GDP has become a global obsession. GDP grows when a country produces weapons, or when an ecological disaster happens, and cleanup costs millions. But GDP cannot measure human happiness, health, or education. We are still worshipping a number that was created in 1934 to solve a temporary crisis. Simon Kuznets came from a small town, but he changed the history of mankind forever. Every big economic decision today has its hidden roots in Pinsk. Subscribe to our channel, Global Roots, to discover more incredible stories that shaped our world.